Let's take a look at grooming and dress code issues in public service. People consider their clothes and bodies to reflect their individuality and are sensitive to criticism of them. In the legal arena, grooming and dress codes may be unconstitutional or violate anti-discrimination statutes. This is an area where an administrator almost always should ask a human resource professional for help. The First Amendment, free expression and free exercise of religion, and the 14th Amendment, equal protection and due process, afford employees some rights in grooming and attire choices, but courts generally uphold an employer's rule against a constitutional challenge if it's rationally related to a legitimate interest. In Kelley v. Johnson 1976, the Supreme Court's principal decision about grooming, a police officer challenged a county policy limiting the length of male officers' hair. The court concluded that the regulation was rationally related to safety because it provided a disciplined and easily recognizable police force and upheld it. Bans on mustaches, goatees, and beards for police also have been upheld because they promote esprit de corps. Prohibitions on beards for firefighters and mustaches and beards for emergency medical technicians have been upheld for safety reasons. Agencies should be extra cautious about grooming regulations that may limit the free exercise of religion. The U.S. Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals upheld a rule preventing correctional officers from wearing dreadlocks due to safety concerns, even though the hairstyle was required by an employee's religion. But the Third Circuit Court struck down a rule prohibiting police officers from wearing beards because the policy prevented a Muslim man from observing his beliefs. The rule allowed an exemption for a medical need, and the court reasoned that, by allowing the exemption for a secular but not a religious purpose, the county unlawfully discriminated against those with religious motivations. Because of the exemption, the court applied the strict scrutiny standard, which requires a measure to be narrowly tailored and to further a compelling governmental interest. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, simply known as Title VII, prohibits employers from discriminating in terms and conditions of employment based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Grooming policies and dress codes are terms and conditions of employment. The grooming policies attacked as gender discrimination primarily have involved different hair length requirements for men and women. Courts routinely upheld such standards if they reflect cultural norms and do not treat one sex more harshly than the other. The grooming rules challenged as race discrimination mainly have been no beard rules. About 25% of black men, compared with less than 1% of white men, suffer from a skin disorder caused by clean shaving, so no beard rules have a disparate negative impact on black men. Dress codes that treat the sexes differently, such as rules that require men to wear ties, are lawful if they do not favor one gender over the other. On the other hand, rules that require only women to wear revealing or physically uncomfortable uniforms, facial makeup, or contact lenses instead of glasses have been invalidated as discriminatory. Policies that limit an individual's ability to observe religious customs have been attacked as religious discrimination. In 1990, a court upheld a state statute that prohibited a Muslim public school teacher from wearing a head covering. Likewise, in 2007, the city of Philadelphia's rule prohibiting a Muslim police officer from wearing a head covering was upheld. In both cases, the courts concluded that requiring employers to accommodate these exceptions would impose undue hardship. Under Title VII, employers must accommodate employees' religious beliefs unless doing so would impose an undue hardship. In 2008, the New York State Department of Corrections settled a high-profile Title VII case by agreeing to determine on a case-by-case basis whether to grant religious exceptions from uniform and grooming regulations. It also agreed to allow personnel to wear close-fitting, solid dark or black religious skull caps, provided no undue hardship was posed.